Hey everybody, Doug here. I know it's been a little while since I've done my last video. There's reasons for that, and I kind of get into that just a little bit. But first thing I want to acknowledge is that since I posted my last video, I hit the 30,000 subscriber milestone. It's crazy how fast that has happened. I'm always shocked at how many people are actually interested in this type of content that I produced. I don't always understand and comprehend or appreciate how many people are out there actually find topics related to video production to be interesting enough to take time to watch on YouTube. So first thing I want to say is thank you all so much for your support of this channel. It's kind of crazy that this has happened. I am not normally the sort of person who likes to be the center of attention, and I never considered myself a very good teacher. And so the fact that this channel has become successful as it is kind of mind-boggling, and every day I am grateful for the support that you guys show me as viewers of this channel, not just by watching, but through Patreon and YouTube memberships as well. Those do mean a lot to me, and I take that seriously, and I try to take any of the income that comes from that and turn it right back into content, more content for the channel. For example, building this studio. That was all due to the support that you guys give me here on this channel. So very much appreciated, and I hope we can continue to do some great things moving into the future. So the one thing I wanted to talk about mostly in this video is whether someone should start a YouTube channel. And I have my own experience to draw from, of course, but I also interact with a lot of people who either have channels or have tried to start channels. And so I maybe have just a touch more insight here than others. So let me talk a little bit about why I got into it and why I think it's worked for me, whereas a lot of other people who try, it has not necessarily been as successful as they've wanted. So the reason I started this channel in the first place was actually to get some information out there that wasn't out there. So I had just left, or I was in the process of getting ready to leave a full-time job. When I say full-time, that's a bit of an understatement. It was a job that was taking 100+ hours per week, and it was burning me out, and I knew that I needed to make a change in my life. And my day job is in software, and that job was a software job as well. And I was completely burned out, and I knew that I needed to do something a little bit different. And I had done video production prior to that job, and I wanted to get back into that, and that was kind of a way to give me something that I could work on. I had some areas of interest and a little bit of experience, and I knew something that I knew that I would enjoy and could potentially earn a living from. So trying to get away from software, at least somewhat, and then move into some other area where I could make at least somewhat of a living and do something that I liked. So I'd been away, like I say, I'd been away for a little while. The job that I was involved with that for about 9 years. So I'd kind of not done much with video for about 9 years. I guess I kind of got away from it. But everything had changed. Like, everything was so different. In that time, the world moved from standard definition and analog to, and mostly analog, to high definition and everything digital. And I mean, I understood a lot of concepts, but I was completely unfamiliar with the equipment that was out there. I didn't even know who was making the kind of equipment that I needed, so I needed to do a lot of research. And I spent a lot of time doing research on YouTube. And at that time, there was very, very, very little content about live video production out there. There was one channel that I found. It's called Studio Tech TV, I think, or something like that. And that was about it. There wasn't much. And my reasoning was, if I'm looking for this and I'm not finding it, certainly I'm not the only one in that situation. There's going to be other people who are wanting that kind of content as well. And so, like, my thought was, okay, I'm going to document a lot of the things that I'm picking up, learning, and put that out there on the internet for other people to find, so that the next person, when they come along to find it, there's something there for them. They're not coming up empty like I had. And so I started producing a handful of videos about some of the equipment that I was finding, things I was learning about that, learning some of the techniques that were a little bit different with digital versus analog, and high definition versus standard definition, and live streaming versus just recording, because that's the other thing that kind of taken off since I had really been heavily involved in video. And so I just started putting these videos out there, a little bit here and there, set up stuff in my living room, shoot a video, tear it down, edit it, post it, move on until the next bit of information that I wanted to get out there had caused me to have enough drive to go through all that process and do it all over again. But I did it never with the intention of growing a channel to anything at all. It was just like, there's probably a few people out there who are interested in this. I'll make it easier for them. So here's what I'm picking up. Here's what I'm learning. Here's what I understand. But over time, it became clear that there was more and more interest out there for that, and having that feedback loop of people watching the videos and commenting on the videos was enough drive for me to keep going. At that point, I had no intention whatsoever of trying to ever earn anything from it. It was always just the satisfaction of helping somebody else. And I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And eventually it got to the point where my channel was big enough that I could actually start to monetize. At that point, that's when I brought Wit on, and she started doing my editing for me, and then later started co-hosting the channel with me as well. And the channel's continued to grow ever since then. And so it's been interesting, it's been fun, and feedback from you, the viewers, has made all the difference in the world. So most of the video ideas that I have, when I talk about different topics, the ideas for those have actually come mostly from people asking me questions, either through YouTube comments or email or Discord or whatever. All that interaction gives me a lot of feedback into what people are not understanding, what they're wanting to learn, where I can help to make their jobs or their hobby or whatever a little bit easier, a little bit more fun. So that's been kind of a ongoing feedback loop, and that's always been enough to keep me going. The financial side of things, where I was actually able to earn something from the channel, it's a nice perk. It's never driven me, but it certainly has allowed me to produce higher quality content here on the channel, as I'm able to bring in equipment that I wouldn't normally purchase and test it and put out videos on that and so forth. And again, help me to build this studio here in my home in order to have a nicer place to shoot and a more consistent place to shoot as well. So with all of that said, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've found from interacting with other people who want to start YouTube channels, have started YouTube channels, most of which fail, what I've learned from that, what they've learned from that, and what I've consistently seen from people who do have channels that are successful. So I think the biggest thing about having a successful YouTube channel is persistence. So the only reason my channel is really successful is because I was persistent at it. I kept going. I kept producing videos for several years before I started to get much of a viewership at all. You know, I started making videos for this channel back in 2016. It's now 2023, so I've been at it for 7.5 years. And for the first 2, 3, even 4 years, I didn't care whether it was successful or not. I was just doing it because I wanted to get the information out there. And the interaction with people was a nice bonus, and it kept me going for sure. But I had not set out to have a successful channel. And I think that was a big contributor to the fact that the channel has been successful. You know, that I didn't give up early on because I wasn't seeing success that I was expecting. I had no expectations of any sort of success whatsoever. It was nice that it happened, but I was fine either way, and I probably would have kept producing videos either way. Eventually, some of those I knew would find some kind of audience and help somebody out, and that was good enough for me. So having some realistic expectations that it's going to take a while. So if you're going to start a YouTube channel, it's going to take a while before you gain any sort of traction and you get any sort of audience, and that's kind of a big thing. And it's very hard for a lot of people to do. And if I'd started out with my channel trying to find a big audience, I would have given up. I just would have stopped doing it because it did take years. It took years. It wasn't just months. It wasn't weeks. It wasn't even a single year. It was multiple years before the channel finally really started to pick up and find an audience that's out there. The other thing that I think is probably really important is that you have a unique voice. I think anybody who produces a channel that's producing the same sort of content as someone else is never going to find any sort of resonance with an audience. You're never going to be able to differentiate yourself from everything else that's out there if you're just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. I think it's really important, if you want to have success in doing a YouTube channel, you need to do something that's different from everybody else. You need to have a new perspective. You need to embrace a topic that other people aren't covering. Just something that is different than what is already out there. Otherwise, why would somebody watch you over somebody else? You know, you've got to be doing something that's unique to you, and it's got to be something that fits your personality. You know, for me, video is a passion of mine. It's something I've been interested in since I was a little kid. Even 2, 3, 4 years old, I was fascinated by what was going on with televisions and VCRs and cameras and all that kind of stuff. And so for me to be able to produce a channel about this has been easy. You know, it doesn't require a lot of effort for me to do this. I find a lot of motivation just in the fact that it is a topic that I'm already passionate about, and something that I've spent a ton of time learning over the years. Had successes, had failures, learned from those successes and those failures, and continue to move ahead and allow myself to continue to grow. And I hope as I'm producing this channel that comes across. I suspect it probably does, because I'm not sure that I would have the viewership that I do if it wasn't for that. So I think that having a unique voice and having a passion for what you want to say is also super important as well. Now, there are other things that are kind of important, but probably not as much important, and I think we kind of tend to overemphasize some of these a little bit. And one of those, for example, is the technical quality of your videos. It's important that people can see you. It's important that people are able to hear you clearly, and it's certainly nice to have a nice looking image, but that's secondary to the content itself. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, well, you know, like, I have to get this fancy camera, I have to get lights, I have to build a room in my house in order to be able to shoot a video for my YouTube channel or whatever, and I won't be successful if I don't do that. Well, I think by this point we've kind of proven with all the channels that are out there that are successful that just isn't necessarily the case, and that the quality of the content, what you have to say, the message you're delivering, the unique perspective that you have matters far, far, far more than the look of your video. So I think it is important, but it's not near as important as whatever your content happens to be. So I strive to make sure that the quality of the video on my channel is about as high as I can possibly do. But at the same time, I don't sweat it, you know. There's been a few times when I've got a camera that's maybe out of focus. You know, if the quality of the content, like the technical quality of the content was first and foremost in my mind, I would reshoot that, you know, even if it took a lot of time. But I know in the end, it doesn't matter that much, that the words that I have to say are far more meaningful and far more important to viewers than the look and feel of the image that they happen to be seeing. With that said, for anybody who's getting involved in a YouTube channel, I would put a lot more time and effort into being sure that you have high quality audio than a high quality image. And in this day and age, getting a high quality image is actually super easy to do. We all carry smartphones in our pockets, which have pretty good cameras on them. And you set up your camera next to a window in your home where you've got sunlight coming in. You're going to be getting enough light that camera is going to be able to produce a nice high quality image. It's really easy to do that. And so many people neglect the audio. They use the microphone on the camera itself rather than getting like a lavalier or a shotgun or something else in order to make sure that you're going to really be able to be heard. People are far more tolerant of bad video than they are of bad audio. So if you're going to be doing a YouTube channel or any other sort of video production, make sure that your audio is good first before you start sweating details on the video itself. So yeah, but overall I think it's really boils down to having a passion for something, having a unique voice, and being persistent. You know, keep putting out videos over and over and over again, no matter how long it takes, but to find success. It's probably going to take a long time. When I say a long time, I mean very often years. So it's going to have to be something that you're actually passionate about if you're going to be able to make it through that period of time without giving up. So anyway, that's just my opinion. That's kind of been my experience, what I've observed from watching other people, and kind of what I have observed from looking back at my own channel as well. So anyway, I wanted to do this video super quick today without any fancy graphics or any fancy editing or anything like that. So I wanted to get it out soon. I know it's been a while since I posted my last video. It's not like I haven't shot other videos. I've got 5 or 6 videos that I've shot, big projects that are just waiting to be edited. And I have had big video jobs going on every weekend for the last 5 or 6 weekends. So I just haven't had the time to get that done. So anyway, so this is, again, my thanks to all the viewers for supporting me for all these years, for getting this channel over 30,000 subscribers, something I thought would never ever happen. That just boggles my mind that there are enough people out there interested in what I have to say in order to take the time to subscribe and continue to watch the videos. It's very flattering, again, especially for someone like me who doesn't necessarily love being in front of the camera, doesn't necessarily like being the center of attention. So anyway, so thank you again for all of that. But with that, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day.